Hello everybody, this is Tucker Miller here again. Now it's time for a long-awaited video. And like I said, for my next segment of my Disney VHS collection, I'm going to be showing off my entire Walt Disney Masterpiece collection. Which, I have pretty much all of them. So yeah, and I do have a few duplicates, but I'll explain the reasons why I have some duplicates, so yeah. But anyways, let's go ahead and, if you don't know what the Masterpiece Collection wine is a wine up that started on October 28th, 1994, and it ended on May 25th, 1999. So, yeah. But anyways, let's get started, shall we? So first off, we got first up on October 28th, 1999, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs premiered on home video for the very first time. So, yeah. You start with this copy, which I got at Movie Trading Company back in October of 2022. And yeah. What can I say about Snow White? It's a great classic, and I'm going to be doing a movie review on this probably next month. But first, I'm going to have to review on the rest of the DreamWorks movies. But I think I'm halfway done, but yeah. But anyways, and people waited so long for this movie to come out on home video because initially, Disney wasn't originally going to plan to release this film on home video because they considered this too special to be on home, especially important. Like, they said it's too special to be released on home video, and that same case goes with Fantasia, but they eventually released Fantasia on home video back in 1991, but yeah, and then and they just want to theatrical re-release this film, but after his 1993 theatrical re-release, Disney still said that they're never gonna still will not release Snow White on home video. But however, around then later on in 1994, they surprised us. They must have realized the wait was over and it's time to release it on home video. So yep, here's the tape with the ink label. And the print date on this is May 29th, 1994. This opens with the green FBI warning screens, and it has the Roy Disney intro. And then this copy, I know there are some copies that open with the 1986 Walt Disney Sorcerer and Mickey logo, and some open with the 1994 Walt Disney Masterpiece Collection logo. This one opens with the 1986 Walt Disney Sorcerer and Mickey logo. So, yeah. So there you go with this release of Snow White. Now, we're not done with Snow White yet, because I also have this copy, which I got at the flea market back in November of 2017. The case is kind of in horrific shape, but at least the tape still works. This one I have longer than this copy. I apologize for the case to be the case is kind of in what shape, but I might try to find a replacement case one day. Who knows? But anyways, ink label. The printing on this one has two different print dates. First one is being on September 18th, 1994, and the other one being on June 1st, 1994. And this copy does still have the Roy Disney intro, but the only difference is, instead of the 1986 Walt Disney Sorcerer and Mickey logo, it has the 1994 Walt Disney Masterpiece Collection logo. So, yeah. So yeah, Snow White and Seven Dwarfs, classic. Now, keep in mind the next, all the way from here to there, all the way from here to there, all 10 of these titles were released on October 28th, 1994. So, yeah, keep that in mind. So, yeah, so next title in the line, Mary Poppins premiered in the Masterpiece Collection line. Again, same time as Snow White and Seven Dwarfs, October 28th, 1994. And yeah, what can I say about Mary Poppins? Great movie. Great film from 1964 with Julie Andrews and Dick Van Dyke. And yeah, one of my favorite Disney live-action films. So anyways, gonna open this up. And I got this tape at Movie Trading Company back in June of 2020. Has some inserts in there. So anyways, yep. Here's the tape, and it has an ink label. And the print date is January 16th, 1996. You know what? I think I have enough time on my camera app. I mean, I got new phone recently, and my old phone kind of don't have enough time. So I might as well show the ad, some of the inserts. Business with Pride card, no one wrote on here. And give your family fun memories of a lifetime. Unlock Disney's Wonderland innovation, or something like that. Here's the first 10 titles. Well, these were the first 10 titles. And also we got Cinderella and The Lion King. Yep. Pretty cool. Okay, got Sword in the Stone, Dumbo, Bedknobs and Broomsticks, Peace Dragon, So Dear to My Heart, Robin Hood, Alice in Wonderland, Three Caballeros, Mary Poppins, and available for a limited time, Cinderella and The Lion King. And this tells you, is a shop along video guide, and it tells you what titles are not available and which ones are. And yeah, and this says coming to video in 96. The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, Pocahontas, and the Aristocats. These two, I believe that's the prototype cover. This is the prototype cover for Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh and Aristocats. They didn't use those when they came out. They have different artwork, but Pocahontas has that art. We got this cover of Pocahontas. So yeah. Now put all these inserts back. So yeah. And for previews on there's a preview for the Walt Disney Masterpiece Collection promo, and I believe a preview for the Brave Little Toaster. So yeah. But anyways, Mary Poppins, not a bad movie. And this film turned 60 years, has celebrated its 60th anniversary, so yeah. So anyways, now moving on with probably, I think, Walt Disney's favorite film that he did, and that is Dumbo. Start with this copy, which I got for my 14th birthday back in October of 2018. Comes in this interesting case. And what can I say about Dumbo? I mean, it is a sad movie, but it's still worth watching. Yep, here's the tape, and has an ink label. And the print date is September 26, 1997. This has previews from 96. Has previews for Aladdin and the King of Thieves, and has the Walt Disney Masterpiece Collection promo and the Walt Disney Family Film Collection promo, I think. But yeah. So yeah, so there we go on this release of Dumbo. Then we got this copy, which I got at a thrift store back in July of this year. Yeah, I got it July of 2024 this year. At some random flip shop. So anyways, I'm gonna open it. I'll explain why I got this. Here's the tape. It has an ink label. And the printing on this tape is February 19th, 1999. And this tape has the Walt Disney Masterpiece Collection promo from the late 90s, and has previews for The Brave Little Toaster Goes to Mars, and a preview for The Spirit of Mickey. So yeah, this tape has 1998 previews. So yeah, this is a 1999 reprint. So yeah. So anyways, this VHS of Dumbo was good. So yeah, there you go on that. Okay, now moving on, we got the 1994 VHS release of Alice in Wonderland, which I got in the box of old tapes back in May of 2019. So yep, here's the spine, and here's the back. And what can I say about Alice in Wonderland? I personally enjoy Alice in Wonderland. It's a pretty good movie. I mean, a lot of people enjoy this, like this one. But yeah, great classic from 1951. So yep, has an Inkwabo, and the print date is November 9th, 1995. And this has the Walt Disney Masterpiece Collection promo, and has the Walt Disney Family Film Collection promo, and it also has a preview for The Brave Little Toaster. So yeah. So anyways, so this VHS of Alice in Wonderland is good. So there we go on that. Okay, moving on. We got is the 1994 release of Robin Hood, and yep. Start with this copy, which again got this in the box of old tapes. Same day I got the Alice in Wonderland, May 2019. So yeah, and Robin Hood is a pretty enjoyable movie. Is one of my mom's personal favorite Disney movies. Maybe it might be her favorite. Either that or Sleeping Beauty. So yeah. Yeah, I enjoy Robin Hood a lot. So yeah, here's the tape with the Inkwabo. And the print date is August 9th, 1994. For previews on there, there's a preview for The Brave Little Toaster. And it has a preview for The Brave Little Toaster, and it has the 1986. And I believe this has the 1986 Walt Disney Sorcerer and Mickey logo. So yeah, so there you go with Robin Hood. This copy of Robin Hood. Now we got this technically factory sealed copy. I have a feeling this might be a resealed because the plastic is kind of hard. The shrink wrap is kind of hard. So maybe when I get an actual sealed copy, I might open this one up and see what pressing it is. I'm not sure when that will happen, but yeah. So yeah, so can't go into much details about that one, so yeah. But now moving on with The Sword and the Stone. I have two of them again. So yeah, so start with this one, which I got in the box of old tapes. Same day I got the Alice in Wonderland and this copy of Robin Hood. So yep, here's the spine. And here's the back. And the sealed Robin Hood I got off Amazon. I was supposed to get the 1999 VHS, but yeah, I got this one in this copy instead. So yeah, and yeah, and here's the back for now. Back to Sword and Stone, and here's the back. What can I say about Sword and Stone? Another very great Disney movie, Disney animated film. Yep. Inkwabo. Print date August 16th, 1994. And this also has previews for The Brave Little Toaster. And yeah. And I believe it opens with the 1986 Walt Disney Sorcerer and Mickey logo. I forgot. I haven't put this tape in a while. So yeah. So there you go on Sword in the Stone. This release, that is. We got this brand new factory sealed copy, which got at Half Price Books in April 2022. And yeah, can't go into much detail about this one. So yeah. Yeah, Sword and Stone is not a bad movie. Now, moving on, we got is Pete's Dragon. And yeah. Yeah, I also got this in the box of old tapes in May 2019. Same day I got Alice in Wonderland, this copy of Robin Hood, and this copy of The Sword and the Stone. So yep, here's the spine, and here's the back. And yeah. What can I... And Pete's Dragon, this is another great Disney movie. Great Disney animated film that has live action with animation in it. I mean, it is sad at the end, but... It has a sad ending, but... Pete's Dragon is not a bad movie. It has great songs, and everything about this movie was wonderful. Classic. Is a classic. So yeah, here's the tape with the Inkwebo, and print date is October 17th, 1995. And yeah, I got this. So yeah, and for previews on there's a preview for the Walt Disney Masterpiece Collection promo, and I believe a preview for the Brave Little Toaster, and the Walt Disney Family Film Collection, if I remember correctly. So yeah, so this VHS of Pete's Dragon is good. So anyways, now moving on with Bedknobs Broomsticks, which I got at Movie Trading Company back in January of 2020, before the COVID-19 pandemic. So yeah. Yeah, this is a great movie. Another great Disney live-action movie. Although some people consider this a whip-off to Mary Poppins, but this is not a whip-off to Mary Poppins. And it has one of the actors is in Mary Poppins, David Thomason, who played this character, Professor Brown. So yeah, he was in Mary Poppins. He played George Banks. So yeah, and this movie also stars the late Angela Lansbury, who would later voice Mrs. Potts in Beauty and the Beast. So yeah, gonna show you the tape. Has the same answers as this Mary Poppins VHS, so I'm probably not gonna show it this time. So yep, here's the tape, and has an Inkwebo, and the print date is March 8th, 1996. And it has previews for the Walt Disney Masterpiece Collection promo, and the Walt Disney Family Film Collection promo, and I think a preview for the Brave Little Toaster. I will have to check again. So yeah. So this VHS of Bedknobs and Broomsticks is good. So yeah. Yeah, so anyways, moving on, we got is the 1994 VHS of the Three Caballeros. And yep, which I got this in another box of tapes back in March of 2020. It was also for my stepmom. I didn't got it at the same time I got the Robin Hood, the Alice in Wonderland, Robin Hood, and Sword and Stone, and Pete's Dragon. No, that was a different time. So anyways, yep, here's the spine, and here's the back. What can I say about Three Caballeros? I think is a great Disney film. One of I want to say this is the best out of the package features, the wartime era. So yeah, here's the tape, and has an Inkwebo, print date June 7th, 1995. And it has preview, and I believe this has preview, the Walt Disney Masterpiece Collection promo, the Brave Little Toaster, and the Walt Disney Family Film Collection promo. So yeah. So anyways, Three Caballeros, great movie. So anyways, yeah. Now next up, we got is So Dear to My Heart. And yeah, I think this is another pretty enjoyable film, but it's been a while since I've seen it. So yeah, and this movie stars the White Boy Eyes, if I'm pronounced. Yeah, the White Boy. Okay, does this? Yeah, Boy Eyes, who was in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And he was in another Disney film, another Disney live-action film, which that would be Summer Magic, which came out in 1963. This film came out in 1949. So, yeah. So, anyways, here's the tape, and it has an Inkwebo, And the print date is May 23rd, 1995. So yeah, So Dear to My Heart, not a bad movie. And I got this tape the same day I got the Three Caballeros VHS. Back in March of 2020. So yeah. Yeah, now moving on. Next up is a big one. So now we got all the titles that were released on October 28th, 1994. And now on March 3rd, 1995, a big one came out. Premiered on home video. The Lion King. That's right. And what can I say about The Lion King? Great movie. Probably one of my personal favorite Disney animated movies. And yeah. And this is a big year. 2024 has been a big year for this film. Because the film celebrated its 30th anniversary, which we all know this movie came out in 1994, and also the death of James Earl Jones, the voice of Mufasa. So yeah. Yeah, rest in peace, James Earl Jones, who also played Darth Vader in Star Wars. But yeah, he voiced Mufasa in this movie. And also another big thing about Lion King this year. Tomorrow, the new Lion King, the new movie Mufasa the Lion King is coming out. I may or may not go see it, but who knows. But anyways, here's the tape with the Incredible. And the print date is December 29th, 1994. And I got this tape at a flea market back in March of 2018. And for previews on there, there's a preview for... It has a preview for Walt Disney World, then a preview for the theatrical release of Pocahontas, and also a preview for the Aristocats and Cinderella and Angels in the Outfield. So yeah, so Lion King, not a bad movie. And yeah, and I know many... And this is one of the this is probably like the one of the best-selling home videos of all time. This is a very common tape to find So pretty much everyone who still has a VHS player still has their copy, or someone or people that used to have it in the past. When they had it when they were kids. So yeah, a lot of 90s kids that used to have this tape, or they still do. But yeah, so yeah, this is a very common VHS to find. So yeah, because it's definitely clearly one of the best selling home videos of all time. So anyways, moving on, October 24th. Not October 24th. October 4th, 1995. Cinderella premiered on in the Masterpiece Collection. And this is the second time Cinderella was released on home video since this movie first premiered on home video in the Classics line in 1988. And yeah. And what can I say about Cinderella? Classic. Another great classic Disney animated film. Great film from 1950. I'm planning to review on this movie next year. So anyways, yep. Here's the tape, and has an Incredible. And the print date is June 13th, 1995. This has previews for previews on there. There's a preview for Walt Disney World, and has a preview for the theatrical release of Toy Story, and it has a preview for the home video release of Santa Claus, Pocahontas, and it has a preview for a Disney Interactive promo, and I believe a preview for the Walt Disney Masterpiece Collection. I know there are some copies that have the Disney Interactive promo, but some copies do. I had to check mine again because it's been a while since I put this tape in. But yeah. So anyway, Cinderella, not a bad movie, and I'll say this: bippity boppity boo, aha. Okay, now moving on. Next, so on February 28th, 1996, Pocahontas premiered on home video for the first time. The movie came out in 1995. And what can I say about Pocahontas? This is probably one of the most overhated Disney films. Like, I personally enjoyed it, despite its historical flaws. It's just, I like the music in it, the animation is really good, and yeah. Don't understand why people hate, why this is one of the most overhated Disney films. Some people consider this as one of the weaker Disney films and the worst out of the Disney Renaissance. They said the only redeeming thing about this film is the two songs, Just Around the River Bay and Cutters of the Wind. But I personally enjoyed this film. But if you don't like it, I respect your opinion. Has an ink label, and the print date is December 21st, 1995. And it has a preview for Walt Disney World, and a preview for the theatrical release of The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and also a preview for the Aristocats, Aladdin, King of Thieves, and the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. And it has the Walt Disney Masterpiece Collection promo, I think, and the Disney Interactive promo. So yeah, and this copy opens with the 1994 Walt Disney Masterpiece Collection logo. I know there are some copies that open with the 1989 Walt Disney Classics logo for some reason. That's kind of a hard one to find, but I will find it eventually. Who knows? Who knows if I will or not? So yeah. So anyways, moving on. We got and Pocahontas. Oh yeah, Cinderella. I got in a box of little tapes back in May of 2019, and Pocahontas. I got it the same day as this tape, and Peace Dragon, Sword and Stone, and Robin Hood and Alice in Wonderland. So yeah, got these two tapes the same day as I got this, and this. And so dear to my heart, I got the same time I got the Three Caballeros. So yeah, if I forgot to mention, if I forgot to mention, I got Lion King at the flea market back in March of 2018. So yeah. Okay, moving on. We got on March 27th, 1996, The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh premiered in the Classics line. I believe this is actually the second release of The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. Some people may consider this to be the first release of Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, but this is actually the second release. The first ever release of Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh was in 1981 for rental only. That was part of the Me on Mickey's lineup. And then it will get released for sale only in 1982. So yeah, has a vertical sticker label. I know some copies have horizontal ink labels. I might get one of those. Get one of these soon. Print date is February 6, 1996. This has previews for the home video release of Toy Story, and has a preview for Aladdin, the King of Thieves, and there's some other previews, and it has a 10-minute, and before the movie it has a 10-minute documentary behind the scenes. So yeah, a 10-minute making of. So yeah, that was shown before the movie. So yeah, so anyways, yeah, and I got this tape, if I forgot to mention, I got this in a box of tapes back in March of 2020. Same day I got the Three Caballeros and So Dear to My Heart. So yeah. So anyways, now, and Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh is not a bad movie, so yeah. So anyways, now moving on, we got is on April 24th, 1996, the Aristocats premiered on home video for the first time. So yeah, we got this release, which I got at an antique shop back in November of 2017. And I will say, Aristocats is a really good Disney film. This movie was this was the first Disney animated film to be released, to be made after Walt Disney's death. So yeah, it has the tape with the Incredible, and the print date is March 6, 1996. This has previews for The Hunchback of Notre Dame, the Toy Story Toy Story video game promo, and a preview for Tom and Hook and Aladdin the King of Thieves. And so yeah. So there you go with the Aristocats. This release. And then we got this brand new factory sealed copy, which I have no intention on opening. So yeah, I won't go into much details of that. And I got this for Christmas in 2023. So yeah. Now moving on is one of my personal favorites. Now on September 24th, 1996, Oliver and Company premiered on home video for the very first time. Movie itself came out in 1988. And what I can say about Oliver and Company, awesome movie. Love this movie. And one famous scene is in this movie, which that will be Billy Joe. He voices this character right here, Dodger. He sung the song, Why Should I Worried? So yeah, I love this movie. A lot. So anyways, yeah. And I got this in the box of old tapes back in May of 2019. Same day I got the Alice in Wonderland, this copy of Robin Hood, this copy of The Sword in the Stone, Pete's Dragon, Cinderella. No. This is Cinderella. Yeah, Cinderella, Pocahontas, and yeah. I got it the same day as those. So yep. Here's the tape, and it has an Incredible, print date July 4th, 1996. Printed on Independence Day. So yeah, and for previews on there, there's a preview for there's a preview for James and the Giant Peach, and also a preview for there's also a preview for the Disney Interactive promo. Has a preview for Muppet Treasure Island, James and the Giant Peach, and Toy Story. And also a preview for the theatrical release of the live action 101 Dalmatians with Glenn Close. So yeah, Oliver and Company, what can I say? Love it. Love this one. So yeah. Now next up we got, so on February 4th, 1997, Bambi debuted in the Masterpiece Collection line. Start with this copy, which I got at the Art Thrift Shop back in June of 2017, when I was on my vacation to Colorado. So yeah. And what can I say about Bambi? Bambi is another really sad Disney film, but again, it's still worth watching. I know it's sad because, you know, Bambi's mom died and got killed, and yeah. And yet it's THX certified, doesn't creep me out, and this is the first Disney VHS to get THX certified. So yeah. I apologize for the case to be in rough shape, but I might also try to get a replacement case. So anyways, here's the tape with the Incredible. Print date, December 23rd, 1996. This tape has previews for George of the Jungle, and previews for, I believe, a preview for the theatrical release of Hercules, and also has a preview for the Hunchback of Notre Dame Topsy-Turvy game, and I believe a preview for the home video release of the live action 101 Dalmatians, and yeah. Yeah, again, it's been a while since I put this tape in, so I'll have to rewatch this tape, make sure what previews are on there. Now we got this copy, which this is still brand new factory seal, originally sold for $21.99 at the Disney store. I got this for Christmas in 2023. Same day I got the Aristocats sealed tape. So yeah. Can't go on detail on that, and I'm gonna keep it in shrink wrap because it could be worth a fortune, like worth money if I would sell it. Maybe put it in like a time capsule. So yeah. So that's Bambi. Okay, now on March 4th, and for Bambi, this VHS wasn't in stores for very long. It was released on February 4th, 1997, and then it went back in the vault on March 31st, 1997. This tape wasn't in stores for very long. So yeah. It's only in stores for like a month. So anyways, yeah, now moving on March 4th, 1997, The Hunchback of Notre Dame premiered on home video. Movie itself came out in 1996. And what can I say about Hunchback of Notre Dame? I also love this movie. I love this movie so much. I just love the music, and all the characters are great. And Floro is a great villain. Has great voice of Tom Hulce as Quasimodo, Demi Moore as Esmeralda, Jason Alexander as Hugo, and Mary Wicks as Laverne, and Kevin Kline as Phoebus. Yeah, I can't wait to do a movie review on this film. So yeah. And yep, here's the tape with the ink label. Print date, January 5th, 1997. This has previews for Hercules, and a preview for Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves, and also a preview for the live action 101 Dalmatians, a preview for Walt Disney World, and yeah. Yeah, so yeah, Hunchback of Notre Dame, great movie. So this VHS of Hunchback of Notre Dame is good. Got this at the Arc store back in June of 2017. Same day I got the Bambi this copy of Bambi. So yeah. Yeah, love Hunchback of Notre Dame. And yeah, the case is in rough shape, but the case on this tape is in rough shape, but it's just because I watched this tape a lot because the movie was so good. I love it. I love this movie so much. So that kind of explains why the case is in rough shape. So yeah. Now we got this brand new factory seal copy, which I got for Christmas in 2023. Last year. And can't go into much detail about this tape, because it's still in the shrink wrap. So yeah, and I'm not gonna bother opening it up. So yep. So yeah, Hunchback of Notre Dame, awesome movie. One of my personal favorite Disney animated films. So now on July 15th, 1997, Fun and Fancy Free premiered on. Fun and Fancy Free debuted in the Masterpiece Collection. Why some people kind of mistaken this to be the very first Walt Disney Masterpiece Collection, first release of this film, but I believe the first ever release of this film was back in 1983 in the part of the Me on Mickey series. Yeah, this is the 50th anniversary edition, because this film came out in 1947. So, yep. Show you the tape. Yep, here's the tape, and has the ink label. And the print date is May 26, 1997. For previews on there, there's a preview for Disney's Magic Artist, and a preview for, and a few other previews. It's been a while since I put this tape in, so yeah, I kind of don't really pay much attention. I kind of forget what the previews are, but I'll put these tapes in again and make sure what previews are really on this. Oh yeah, I believe there's a preview for the theatrical re-release of The Little Mermaid, I think. And then a preview for Sleeping Beauty and Old Yeller and Alice in Wonderland, which Alice in Wonderland didn't get debuted in the Classics one, I think. But you know, what are you gonna do? And this is also THX certified. And then after the movie's over, it has the making of. And I also forgot to mention, on Bambi, after the movie's over, it also has a making of. So yeah. Okay, now on August 25th, 1997, Mary Poppins got re-released in the Masterpiece Collection line. And yep, THX certified, full story, limited edition. This one, Fun and Fancy Free, I got in the box of old tapes in May of 2019. And Mary Poppins, this release of Mary Poppins, I got it in an antique shop back on the 4th of July of 2020. Yeah, I already explained my thoughts on Mary Poppins. So yep, here's the tape. It has the ink label. Print date August 5th, 1997. For previews on there, there's a preview for the theatrical re-release of Little Mermaid and a preview for the 101 Dalmatians animated storybook and then there are a couple other previews, but I forgot what they were. So yeah. Now I'll show you the answers on this tape. Okay, video shopping guide. See, we got Old Yeller, Sleeping Beauty. Sleeping Beauty is gonna be the next title, and Jungle Book. Hold on, apologize. My hand, like. Got Bone Chillers. I don't know what that is. Doug, Quack Pack. Oh, sorry about that. My hand is kind of hurt. My hand is just. My phone is kind of like about to fall off my hand, so I apologize. Some sing-alongs. And yeah, earn free videos with Disney Video Rewards program. So yeah, that's kind of long expired, because this thing is like 27 years old. And the sticker, I got this little thing, save collector's stamp to earn free Disney videos. Okay? And also got this business with pride card. Which no one wrote on it, and not like anyone, I don't think anyone has done it in the past. Save up to $12. Okay, we got save $7 on on the Mary Poppins soundtrack CD or cassette. Get this Mary Poppins kite and send it soaring. Save $5 on the umbrella that opens and closes automatically. Ooh. And some... What is this? Watercolor? I don't know what that is. Yeah. Whole lot of answers in there. And this has come with the commemorative songbook with. Let's open it up and see what we got inside. It has all the list of songs like That Spoonful of Sugar. Jolly Holiday. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Feed the Birds. Toppins a Bag. Chim Chim Chawee. Also, which those are great songs. Like, this damn phone is like about to slip out of my hand. Apologize for that. I mean, this was in there first. Jeez. Alright, now I got it back in. And I believe there's also a proof for Beauty and the Beast, The Enchanted Christmas. So yeah, I think that's also on the Fun and Fancy Free VHS. But yeah. Okay. Now that's done. Now on September 16th, 1997, Sleeping Beauty premiered on home video. Premiered in the Masterpiece Collection line. Yeah, this is the second release of Sleeping Beauty. Because, you know, this movie was released in the Classics line back in 1986. I got this at the flea market back in March of 2018. Same day I got the Lion King VHS. Yep. And there's also THX certified. Same thing with same thing with Bambi, Fun and Fancy Free, and Mary Poppins. Yep, here's the tape with the ink label. Print date, July 16th, 1997. So printed like 2 months before this tape was released. Because, you know, this tape was released September 16th, 1997. And for previews on there's a preview for the theatrical re-release of The Little Mermaid. It has a preview for Alice in Wonderland, Old Yeller, and The Jungle Book. Also, a preview for Disney's Magic Artists, and also a preview for Beauty and the Beast, The Enchanted Christmas. So, yeah. Yeah, and then after the movie's over, it has the making of. And also, what can I say about Sleeping Beauty? Another great classic. So yeah. Now moving on, we got is the widescreen collector's edition, which I got at Movie Trading Company back in the end of July of 2022. So yeah. This is the widescreen edition. It says, special widescreen format, the way Walt Disney indeed it to be seen. Yeah, this movie was shot in widescreen. This is like the second Disney film to be in widescreen, because the first one is being Lady and the Tramp. So yeah. So yeah, that's how Sleeping Beauty was shown in widescreen when it first came to movie theaters in 1959. And this tape does not have any previews on it at the beginning. But after the movie's over, it has the making of and it has the original theatrical trailer and rare dance sequence featuring Helen Stanley. I cannot pronounce the name of the person. Model for Sleeping Beauty, as aired on the Mickey Mouse Club in 1956, and Special Commander booklet, which unfortunately this does not have the booklet. Otherwise, I would have shown it. So yeah, tape with the ink label. Print date September 5th, 1997. So yeah, so this VHS of Sleeping Beauty is good, so there you go on that. Okay, moving on, we got is now on October 14th, 1997, The Jungle Book premiered in the Masterpiece Collection Wine. Yep, 30th anniversary. Yeah, this tape came out to celebrate the film's 30th anniversary because the film itself came out in 1967. And what can I say about Jungle Book? Another great classic. So yeah. Yeah, and this is the very last Disney film to be done by Walt Disney because, you know, he died during production back in 1956. And the movie came out in 1967. So, yeah. So, anyways, here's the tape with the ink label. Print date is August 6, 1997. Now, it has the some inserts in here. I'll show you them. So, anyways, got the music booklet. Got the Bare Necessities. That's what the song is best known for. I Wanna Be Like You. Trust in Me. That's What Friends Are For. Swear, this phone couldn't stop trying to get out of my hand. And My Own Home. Wedding West. Kinda. No, I can't right now. Okay, video shopping guide. I apologize. It's just my hand is kind of killing me right now. Got Beauty and the Beast, The Enchanted Christmas coming November 11th. On video, only on video. Got Hercules, that will be my next title, the next one. Peter Pan 45th anniversary. Is interesting because this picture is from like the original Black Diamond Classics VHS that came out in 1990. And then it even has the same critic review. But when it was released, they had a different artwork and a different critic review. And Dumbo. It has and it says a fully restored limited edition release of Dumbo, which I believe that never happened. I think it seems like they were originally planning to release Dumbo in the Masterpiece Collection, but they just didn't for some reason. Kind of the same thing with Alice in Wonderland. It was supposed to get reissued in 97, but Alice in Wonderland eventually got reissued in the Masterpiece Collection in 1999. Got Doug, got some Christmas titles, and that thing again. Save $10 by mail when you buy any two eligible Disney Interactive CD-ROMs. That is way long expired. And this save collector stamp earn free videos. Look inside. Oh, I think that's what these answers supposed to be in. Business reply card. Save $5 by mail when you buy these free Kid Cuisine's frozen meals. Walt Disney's The Jungle Book or Alice in Wonderland video or any eligible Disney animated classic listed below. Okay. And Kids Wide Free. Alright. That's cool. When you put all this, try to put all this back. God, my hand is really killing me. Hold on a minute, guys. Alright. Got it. Got all the answers back in, and yeah. So this, and for previews on there's a preview for the home video release of Hercules, and also a preview for the Toy That Saved Christmas, and yeah, if I forgot to mention, it has a preview for the home video release of Hercules, Peter Pan, and Beauty and the Beast: The Enchanted Christmas, and a CD-ROM, some CD-ROM. I forgot what the name of that CD-ROM promo was, but yeah. And then after the movie's over, it has the making of. So yeah. And there's also THX Survive. Still doesn't creep me out. So yeah. Now, on February 3rd, 1998, Hercules debuted in the premiered on home video. The movie itself came out in 1997. And what can I say about Hercules? This is another really great Disney animated film. And I got this and for Jungle Book, I got it at Movie Trading Company back in June of 2020. And Hercules, I got in the box of old tapes back in May of 2019, saying that I got this Robin Hood, this copy of Robin Hood, Sword and Stone, Peace Dragon, Cinderella, Pocahontas, and Oliver and Company, Fun and Fancy Free. Yeah, and yeah. So yep, here's the tape with the ink label. Print date December 16th, 1997. For previews on there's a preview for the theatrical release of Mulan, and also a preview for Belle's Magical World, and a preview for Flubber, and also a preview for Peter Pan. So yeah. And yep. So yeah, so this VHS of Hercules is good. Now, we also got this brand new factory sealed copy, which I got at Half Price Books back in April of 2022. Can't go into much detail about it, since it was the fact that it's factory sealed. So anyways. And so yep, now moving on, we got, if I can get, okay, there we go. Next we got is, now on March 3rd, 1998, Peter Pan premiered in the Masterpiece Collection line. And yep, 45th anniversary. This tape came out to celebrate the film's 45th anniversary, which this film came out, because this film came out in 1953. 1953. So yep. And yeah. I got this off Amazon back in June of 2020. I did used to have another copy of this tape, which I got at Movie Trading Company back in June of 2020, saying that I got this copy of Mary Poppins and the 1994 VHS of Mary Poppins and The Jungle Book. But however, when I put the tape in, the tape didn't work. It didn't show any picture for some reason. It could have been like a defective tape, but I'm not sure what was wrong with it. So I got rid of it and I got this copy, and this copy is sealed, so the tape works fine. It plays. So yeah. Here's the tape with the ink label. Print date January 15th, 1998. It has this Winnie the Pooh collection. And free preview no whisk. Oh yeah, Family Fun magazine. Okay. Yeah, it came with answers because it was sealed when I got it. Save $10 on when you buy 3 of these General Meal cereals. Okay. So yeah, and also for previews on, I almost forgot, for previews on there, there's a preview for the theatrical release of Mulan, and there's also a preview for the home video release of The Little Mermaid, and a preview, and also a preview for The Brave Little Toaster Goes to Mars, and Flubber, and also the Hercules. If I forgot to mention, Hercules has a preview for Flubber, and it also has this also has a preview for Melody Time. So yeah. And then after the movie's over, it has the making of. So yeah. So this VHS of Peter Pan is good, so there you go on that. Okay, moving on, we got is... Now, on March 31st, 1998, The Little Mermaid debuted in the Masterpiece Collection line. After is 1997 theatrical re-release. And never before seen music video part of the world, which is like sync up to the end credits. So yeah, show you the tape. Here's the tape, and has a dark sticker label, and the print date is February 17th, 1998. And I got this tape at Movie Trading Company back in June of 2020. Same day I got the 1994 VHS of Mary Poppins and the 1997 release of The Jungle Book. So yeah, and for previews on there, and before the previews, we got these 2 fishes named Gil and Dill. I think that's their names, and then we got Jodie Benson, the voice of Ariel, and all 3 of them start talking about the previews. So the previews on there's a preview for the theatrical release of Mulan, and then a preview for the home video release of and also a preview for A Bug's Life, and a preview for Melody Time, and I believe a preview for Pocahontas 2, Journey to a New World, and also a preview for Lady and the Tramp, and then also has a preview of the Disney Cruise Line. So yeah, and then after the movies, and it's got the THS logo, and after the film's over, it has the music video Part of Your World, which is, like I said, synced up to the entire in credits. So yeah. So yeah, Little Mermaid, great movie. Great Disney great Disney film. And I definitely am looking forward to doing the review on it next year, so yeah. Okay, next up, now on June 2nd, 1998, Melody Time premiered on home video. So yeah, the 50th anniversary, because since this film came out in 1948, so yep, here's the spine, and here's the back. And Melody Time is not a bad movie. Yep, also THX certified. For previews on there, there's a preview for the home video release of Pocahontas 2, Journey to a New World, and The Black Cauldron, and also a preview for Kiki's Delivery Service. And there's also a preview for, like, something on that aired on the Disney Channel, like an orchestra, like, band thing. I don't know what it is. So yeah, here's the tape, and it has a sticker label, dark sticker label. And print date is May 5th, 1998. And if I remember correctly, it also has previews for A Bug's Life and The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride. Yeah, like I said, print date is May 5th, 1998. Printed on Cinco de Mayo. And I forgot to mention, I got it in the box of old tapes back in May of 2019. If I forgot to mention. So yeah. So this VHS of Melody Time is good. Now moving on with... Now on August 4th, 1998, The Black Cauldron premiered on home video for the first time. It comes with this really cool cover. And what can I say about The Black Cauldron? Not many people talk about this one. It's like, yeah, not many people talk about this movie. Is another one of those overhated Disney films. I know it didn't did too well when it came out in 1985. I know it was a big one of it failed. It bombed in the box office, but yeah, this movie didn't did too good when it first came out in 1985, and yeah. So after that, Disney was trying to bury this film. Yeah, they try to bury this film, and people asked Disney, when is Black Cauldron coming to home video? So yeah, this VHS was, like I said, this VHS was released on August 4th, 1998, and the film itself, the film came out in 1985, and Disney was trying to hide this movie. Apparently, a lot of fans were getting... Disney, received letters to fans asking when this film is gonna come to home video. So, there you go. And I got this in the box of old tapes back in May of 2019, so yeah. And it has tape with the ink label. Print date, June 19th, 1998. And this has previews for A Bug's Life and the theatrical release of A Bug's Life, and also a preview for The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride, and also has a preview for Pocahontas 2, Journey to a New World, Lady and the Tramp, Meet the Deals, and Kiki's Delivery Service. So yeah. And then there are some copies that open with that has the Now I Feature program bumper, but there's some copies that have now our featured presentation bumper. This copy here has the featured program bumper. Maybe one day I'll try to find a copy that opens with the featured presentation bumper. But yeah. So yeah, so this VHS of the Black Cauldron is good. So there you go on that. Yeah, and Black Cauldron is not a bad movie. Now, moving on. Now, on September 15th, 1998, my all-time favorite Disney animated film came out on home video, debuted in the Masterpiece Collection line, Lady and the Tramp. Yeah, this is my all-time favorite Disney animated film. So, yeah. This one I got for Christmas in 2018. So yep, here's the tape and it has an Inquabo. Print date is August 21st, 1998. For previews on there, there's a preview for A Bug's Life. And also a preview for The Jungle Book Mowgli Story. Yeah, a preview for A Bug's Life, The Jungle Book Mowgli Story, The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride, and Summer of the Monkeys. And also has a preview. And also has the Walt Disney Masterpiece Collection promo, and also a preview for The Rescuers, and it has the One Saturday Morning cartoon. And I forgot to mention The Little Mermaid also has a Walt Disney One Saturday Morning promo. So yeah. And then after the movie's over, it has the THX logo. And after the film's over, it has a special announcement for Lady and the Tramp 2 Scamp's Adventure coming to video, exclusively to video in 2000. But really, the film Lady and the Tramp 2 actually came out in 2001. So yeah, here's the answers to it. Got this. Got this kid's wifey. Here's the answer, some more of the. Save $2 now on any of these eligible Walt Disney Masterpiece Collection videos. So got Melody Time, Alice in Wonderland, Robin Hood, Mary Poppins, Sword in the Stone, Peace Dragon, and The Little Mermaid. Save by mail on. Save $5 by mail on Walt Disney animated classic Lady and the Tramp when you buy Waku's pasta sauce, which that kind of makes sense because in the scene, which we all know, the iconic spaghetti scene. And Pooh's and this Winnie the Pooh thing. So yeah. Hold on a minute, guys. Alright, got it. So yeah, Lady and Tramp, I love this movie. Best Disney animated film in my opinion. So moving on, we got this copy of Lady and the Tramp, which I got at Movie Trading Company back in the end of July of 2022. Same day I got the widescreen edition of Sleeping Beauty. Everything's the same. The reason why I got it because of this horizontal white sticker label. And yep. And the print date is July 24th, 1998. And here's some more answers in there. I'm not gonna take all of them out because it's too many. And plus I kind of shown the ones in that tape, so yeah. There's just too many, so yeah. Hope I get this back. There we go. So yeah, there we go with Lady and the Tramp. Now next up on initially on January 5th, 1999, the Rescuers premiered in the Masterpiece Collection line. But suddenly, 3 days after this tape came out, someone found this, like, inappropriate image in one of the film's backgrounds. Is where the scene where Bernard and Miss Bianca were flying on Orville's back, and we saw in one of the films in the background in one, there's like this flame of this blurry image of this half naked woman in one of the film's backgrounds. So then 3 days later, somebody caught it, and like so many copies were recalled, and this tape was re-released on March 23rd, 1999. This is the March 23rd, 1999 pressing. So this copy does not have that image. So yeah, here's the tape, and it has a dark sticker label. And the print date is February 14th, 1999. It's printed on Valentine's Day. And what can I say about The Rescuers? This is another great Disney animated film. And we all know one of the actors, Bob Newhart, who voices this character, Bernard, he had sadly passed away back in July of this year. It's just sad. So yeah, rest in peace, Bob Newhart. So yeah. Yeah, and for previews on there, there's a preview for Mighty Joe Young, and there's also a preview for the only preview I can think of on top of my head is a preview for Mighty Joe Young. So yeah. Yeah, so anyways, hope I can get the earliest copy that has that image. I know earlier copies have ink labels. The one that has the image has ink labels, and later copies that don't have that image has dark sticker labels. So yeah, I'll have to get my hands on one of them. Get my hands on a copy like that. So yeah. So this VHS of The Rescuers is good, so there you go on that. Now, on February 2nd, 1999, Mulan premiered on home video. Movie itself came out in 1999, and for The Rescuers, I got it at Movie Trading Company back in August of 2020. So anyways, now back to Mulan. And what can I say about Mulan? Another fantastic Disney animated movie that came from 1998. I enjoyed this movie a lot. So yep, here's the ink label. Print date December 18th, 1998. I got this in the box of old tapes back in May of 1999. Back in May of 2019, sorry. So yeah, it has previews for previews on there. There's a preview for the home video release of A Bug's Life, and also a preview for Winnie the Pooh singing a song with Pooh Bear, and has a preview for and it has a preview for the Masterpiece Collection release of 101 Dalmatians. for 101 Dalmatians, and also has a preview for the exclusive work at Tarzan, which would be coming to movie theaters around that time, back in June of 1999, which would be coming to movie theaters around the summer of 1999. So, yeah. So anyways, so this VHS of Mulan is good, so there we go on that. Now we got this copy, which I got at Movie Trading Company back in January of 2023. The main reason I got it because of this. Again, horizontal white sticker label. And the print date is January 6, 1999. So, it has the same previews and all. So yeah, so there you go with Mulan. Okay, 4 more titles. Now on March 9th, 1999, 101 Dalmatians premiered on home video. Premiered in the Masterpiece Collection line. And yet THX certified, this is the Wax Masterpiece Collection line. Masterpiece Collection to be THX. Here's the back. Special exclusive Mousework short featuring starring Pluto. Featurette starring Pluto. And yeah. And for the Rescuers, it also has a short film. It's called Pluto Gets the Paper, and I forgot what it might be the same thing, but I forgot. I haven't put this tape in a while. But for previews on there, there's a preview for the home video release of A Bug's Life, and there are a few other previews, but right now the only preview I can think is a preview for A Bug's Life. So yeah, and what can I say about 101 Dalmatians? Great movie. Another great movie. From 1961. So yep, here's the tape with the ink label. And the print date is January 25th, 1999. If I haven't done it all, shown the tape already, but yeah. So yeah, and I got this at if I forgot to mention, I got this at Movie Trading Company I got this tape at Movie Trading Company back in June of 2020. So yeah. So anyways, now moving on, we got is the 1999 release of Alice in Wonderland. Got this for Christmas in 2020. For previews on there, there's a preview for... I know some of the previews. It has a preview for Madeline Lost in Paris, and also a preview for Hercules, Zero the Hero, and Belle's Tales of Friendship, and also a preview for The Great Mouse Detective. So yep, here's the tape with the ink label. Print date, June 11th, 1999. Show you the inserts. Disney's Blast Online. Free storybook, Disney's The Rescuers. Free Disney Castle Playhouse. It seems to feature Alice in Wonderland and Robin Hood. And this like Blaine security thing or whatever this is. Hold on, let me put all this back. Alright, I'm back now. So yeah, so this VHS release of Alice in Wonderland is not too bad. Okay, moving on. We got is the 1999 release of Robin Hood. Got this for Christmas in 2021. So yep, has the same. It kind of does have the same previews as the Alice in Wonderland. So yep, here's the tape with the ink label. Print date June 9th, 1999. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, it does have the same inserts as the Alice in Wonderland. So I'm not gonna bother. I'm not gonna show you those because what's the point? So yeah, so this VHS of Robin Hood is good, so there ain't on that. Now, last but certainly not least, on May 25th, 1999, the final release of the Walt Disney Masterpiece Collection, the final no title in the Walt Disney Masterpiece Collection line is The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad, 50th Anniversary. Yeah, this film came out in 1949. Got this in the box of old tapes back in May of 2019. And Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad is another really good film. So yeah, I'll show you the tape. Here's the tape with the ink label. Print date April 5th, 1999. And second print date January 30th, 1999. And this has, for previews on there, there's a preview for my favorite Martian, and also a preview for the reissues of Alice in Wonderland and Robin Hood. Also, The Rescuers has that preview. I remember now, so yep. And also, there's also a preview for Disney Sing-Along Songs Flick's musical adventure at the Animal Kingdom, and then also a preview for Madeline Lost in Paris, and then it also has a Playhouse Disney promo, which Playhouse Disney is now Disney Junior. So yeah. So yeah, and those are the previews I can think of. So yeah. So anyways, now before I end this video, there were supposed to be two other Walt Disney Masterpiece Collection, two other titles that were originally planned for the Masterpiece Collection, which that would be The Great Mouse Detective, was supposed to be released in the Masterpiece Collection on August 31st, 1999, and the 60th anniversary, and the final title was supposed to be the 60th anniversary release of Pinocchio. But those two was scrapped. But however, those releases still does exist, but they didn't made it in the Masterpiece Collection line for some reason. Like Pinocchio and the Great Mouse Detective were going to be released in the Masterpiece Collection, but yeah, and I forgot to mention, Pinocchio was supposed to come out in the Masterpiece Collection on October 26, 1999. But however, Great Mouse Detective came out on home video on August 31st, 1999 as a standalone title, and same thing goes with Pinocchio. Pinocchio was released in the 60th anniversary release of Pinocchio was released. Yeah, it was released on October 26, 1999, again, as a standalone title. There was both Pinocchio and The Great Mouse Detective were originally planned to be the final two releases in the Walt Disney Masterpiece Collection, but they were scrapped and instead been released as standalone titles. So yeah. But anyways, that is it for my Walt Disney Masterpiece Collection. And stay tuned for my next segment of my Disney VHS collection, which will be the Walt Disney Gold Classic Collection. But until then, see you in the next video. Bye.